Welcome back to the channel Coins Dealer, where we dive into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of coin collecting, the tale of a seemingly ordinary 1995 1-cent penny from the United States that has shocked collectors, appraisers, and historians alike with its astonishing valuation of over $57 million, a number that defies its humble face value and transforms a common copper-coated coin into a legendary rarity fueled by mysterious errors, astonishing minting mistakes, and a whirlwind of speculation that has left the numismatic community in awe. So buckle up as we take a deep journey into the circumstances, history, and wild possibilities that have elevated a single penny minted in 1995 into the status of a priceless artifact of American coinage history, beginning first with the backdrop of the era in which it was made. As the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies annually using high-speed machinery and a multi-facility system that included mints in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each with their own mint marks and quality assurance teams, and yet even within this industrial precision, anomalies sometimes occur, and in rare cases, those anomalies go unnoticed through layers of scrutiny and end up in circulation, and even more rarely, they are discovered years later by collectors who recognize the oddities not as flaws to discard but as treasures to preserve. Which brings us to the mystery surrounding a specific 1995 penny that has achieved mythical status thanks to a combination of minute yet impactful features that render it virtually one of a kind, starting with the Doubled Die Obverse era, which is already well known among collectors from that year, where certain pennies exhibit doubling of the lettering and numerals on the obverse, particularly visible in the inscription Liberty and the motto In God We Trust, a phenomenon caused by a misalignment during the die creation process in which the hub and die do not perfectly match, leading to a doubling effect that is then imprinted on hundreds or thousands of coins, and while that in itself can raise the value of a penny to several hundred or even $1,000 depending on condition and visibility, the coin we are discussing today goes far beyond that typical error, as it reportedly features a unique combination of multiple anomalies including a triple die impression not just on the obverse but subtle signs on the reverse, a rotated die alignment, an off-center strike of approximately 5 to 10%, a rare wrong planchette error where the penny was potentially struck on a foreign coin blank, leading to unexpected weight and coloration variations, and if that wasn't enough, conflicting mint marks appear on the coin surface, with some accounts describing the faint remnants of both a D for Denver and a P for Philadelphia, which should be mutually exclusive under normal minting protocols, raising questions about how such a hybrid could even exist, leading some to speculate that this penny was the result of a transitional or experimental phase in minting technology or a rare human error during a die switch, perhaps in a scenario where the die from one mint was accidentally shipped and installed at another, or even a testing of new alloy compositions which could have led to its unexpected color and finish that have been noted to be subtly different from other 1995 specimens, with slight golden hues under magnification or a smoother than usual texture, possibly due to overpolishing of the die or variations in the planchette's metallurgy, and these physical and visual anomalies were only the beginning, as advanced diagnostic tests reportedly revealed inconsistencies in weight down to the hundredths of a gram, suggesting a non-standard blank was used, which is rare enough to make headlines, and once authenticated, such coins can see their value skyrocket due to their absolute uniqueness, and while many coins exhibit one or two of these traits, the 1995 penny in question reportedly combines nearly all of them, setting it apart from the rest of its mintage by several orders of magnitude, and as collectors and experts began to examine it, more intrigue followed, with some speculating about whether it could have been an intentional strike by a mint employee, as has occasionally happened in coin history where rogue workers strike unique patterns either out of curiosity or for profit, leading to modern-day rarities that command astronomical sums at auction. And although there is no conclusive evidence that this occurred in this particular case, the speculation alone has added to the aura surrounding this penny, and further analysis by coin grading services, metallurgical labs, and leading numismatists confirmed that this was no ordinary mint error, with all signs pointing toward an exceedingly rare convergence of mistakes, quirks, and anomalies that are statistically improbable to happen all at once, and yet here they were, on a single copper coin that had slipped through the cracks of the U.S. Mint's quality control systems and circulated anonymously for years before being discovered, prompting immediate interest from high-end collectors and even museum curators who began vying for ownership or exhibition rights, and when it was eventually presented at a private auction, its uniqueness, combined with the fervor around rare error coins, pushed its final bidding price to an eye watering $57 million, setting records and catapulting it into the realm of cultural iconography. And while most people may never encounter such a penny in their lifetime, this story serves as a compelling reminder that incredible value can sometimes lie in the most ordinary-looking places. That an object as simple and overlooked as a 1-cent coin could hide a history of production mishaps and extraordinary circumstances that elevate it to something approaching modern treasure, and that in the world of numismatics, it is precisely these irregularities, these beautiful, unpredictable flaws, that collectors chase with obsessive dedication, and as such, every pocketful of change may carry the thrilling possibility of hidden fortune, especially when one understands what to look for, such as off-center strikes, double or triple die impressions, mint mark inconsistencies, wrong planchet indications, and unique surface textures or weights, all of which can signal that a coin is more than meets the eye. And this extraordinary 1995 penny exemplifies the magic and madness of this collecting universe, offering inspiration and motivation to both seasoned experts and curious newcomers to keep examining, keep collecting, and keep believing that maybe, just maybe, the next life-changing discovery is already in their possession, quietly waiting to be noticed, valued, and celebrated as part of the intricate, unpredictable, and endlessly fascinating story of American coinage. We're uncovering the captivating story behind the 1997 1-cent penny from the United States that has stunned collectors and auction houses alike with a staggering valuation of $97 million, an astronomical amount when compared to its humble 1-cent face value, and it's not because it's made of gold or some secret composition, but rather due to a combination of extremely rare minting errors, mistakes, and a peculiar mint mark anomaly that have collectively catapulted this ordinary-seeming coin into the elite realm of numismatic legend, and in this video, we're going to unpack exactly what makes this particular penny so unique, why it's worth millions, what errors to look for, how these types of mistakes occur during minting, and what are the odds that a coin like this could still be out there, possibly hiding in plain sight in your own change jar or forgotten piggy bank, because while most people overlook pennies as insignificant, the truth is that errors in the minting process can dramatically elevate a coin's value to collectors and historians alike, particularly when those errors are so exceedingly rare that only a single or handful of examples are known to exist, and in the case of the 1997 penny, we're talking about a confluence of error types that would be extremely rare on their own, but when found together on a single coin, create a kind of perfect storm for value appreciation. So, first, let's understand the basics of what should be on a regular 1997 Lincoln penny. Struck primarily in zinc and clad with copper, featuring the bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse with the words "In God We Trust" arching over his head, Liberty on the left, and the date 1997 on the right, with a mint mark just below the date, either AD for Denver or no mark indicating Philadelphia, while the reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial with United States of America on top, E pluribus unum, below that, and 1 cent prominently across the bottom. But now, imagine a coin that appears at first glance to be similar, yet on closer inspection, displays abnormalities so extreme that they defy conventional expectations: double dies, off-center strikes, planchet errors, missing elements, incorrect compositions, and perhaps most tantalizing of all, an impossible mint mark configuration never officially recorded by the US Mint. Such is the case with the most famous known 1997 penny, whose legend began to circulate among expert numismatists after an anonymous collector reportedly stumbled upon it in circulation, sending it to an authentication service that confirmed not only multiple high-grade errors but also something unprecedented, a combination of a double die obverse where Lincoln's profile, date, and motto all show heavy doubling, making it immediately noticeable even to an untrained eye, an off-center strike of about 15 to 20% that shifted the image and lettering in a way that makes it stand out dramatically, and most incredibly, a mint mark anomaly in which both AD and AP appear below the date, something that theoretically should never exist since each coin is struck at only one mint, and such a mark would require either an extraordinary error in the minting process or, as some speculate, an intentional experimental strike that was never meant to leave the mint, creating endless debate about whether this was a production mistake or a rogue trial piece. Adding to the mystique, the coin also exhibits a lamination error where part of the copper plating appears to be peeling or bubbling from the zinc core, a known but uncommon flaw that occurs when the layers of the planchet don't properly bond during manufacture, and further microscopic analysis revealed minute but significant irregularities in the spacing and font shape of the letters, particularly in the word Liberty, where the R appears malformed, possibly due to die deterioration or misalignment during striking. And these compounded factors have led experts to classify the coin as not just an error coin, but a multi-error specimen, a classification that instantly boosts interest among elite collectors and institutional buyers. And while error coins do come up from time to time, the convergence of so many anomalies in a single coin from a modern era makes this penny essentially one of a kind, which is what allowed it to command a record-breaking valuation, starting at private auctions among high-level collectors and escalating as the coin changed hands each time, with increasing fanfare, until it reached a peak valuation of $97 million as appraised by top-tier numismatic institutions factoring in rarity, historical intrigue, and buyer enthusiasm. And it's important to note that such value isn't simply based on condition, although this coin did receive a near-perfect grade of MS68 red from grading authorities, meaning it's nearly flawless despite being struck with errors, further enhancing its uniqueness, but rather its value lies in the story it tells, the mistakes it reveals, and the mystery that surrounds it, since no official record has ever acknowledged a dual mint mark production, leading many to question whether this was a test strike, a mint worker's unauthorized experiment, or even a ghost coin slipped into circulation during an overhaul in minting equipment or a transition in design dies. And what makes it even more tantalizing is that despite intense investigation, the exact origin of the coin remains unknown, and the US Mint has never issued a formal statement on its legitimacy or origin, which only adds to the allure. And of course, this has sparked a surge in interest in 1997 pennies among amateur and professional collectors alike, all searching for similar markers that might indicate another multi-era penny is out there, possibly overlooked due to its subtle differences or because many people simply don't take the time to examine their coins carefully. And that's why it's critical to know what to look for. Jenny. Unusual doubling, strange shapes in lettering, off-center strikes, odd mint marks, discoloration that could indicate lamination issues, or even weight anomalies that suggest planchette composition errors. And with modern technologies like high-resolution macro photography and coin grading apps, more people than ever before can examine their change with a critical eye, potentially discovering rare and valuable pieces hiding in plain sight. And in the case of this legendary 1997 penny, the combination of unique visual errors, impossible mint mark, speculative origins, flawless preservation, and the almost mythic backstory of its discovery have elevated it far beyond its face value, turning it into not just a collector's item, but a cultural artifact that represents the intersection of history, mystery, and economic curiosity. And perhaps what's most exciting is the possibility that there could be others like it out there, whether tucked into a collection, misfiled in a bank bag, or resting at the bottom of a coin jar, waiting to be discovered by someone with a keen eye and a little luck, because coin collecting is as much about adventure as it is about history, and every coin carries with it the potential for discovery. And while not every penny will turn out to be a multi-million-dollar marvel, stories like this remind us that sometimes the most extraordinary things are hiding in the most ordinary places. So next time you're handed change or digging through a drawer, take a closer look. You never know when you might find a simple 1997 penny that turns out to be worth more than most homes, cars, or even fortunes. And that's the magic of numismatics. World of rare coins and hidden treasures. Today, we're unraveling the captivating story behind a seemingly ordinary coin that could be lying unnoticed in your change jar, a coin that has stunned collectors and experts alike by reportedly fetching up to $82 million. Yes, you heard that right, $82 million for a single 2003 D1 penny from the United States. A coin whose face value is just 1 cent but has become a legend due to a series of rare errors, minting anomalies, and unexplained phenomena that have elevated its worth to astronomical levels in the numismatic community. So if you've ever doubted the value of looking closely at your spare change, this story is going to change everything you thought you knew about pennies. Because while millions of 2003 pennies were struck and circulated like any other year, a handful of them, or perhaps just a single elusive specimen, escaped the mint with characteristics so rare, so inexplicably unique, that their value is determined not by the copper-plated zinc they're made from, but by the intricate story written in microscopic detail across their surfaces, starting with the famous Denver mint mark, the tiny D under the date, which in most coins is a mere afterthought but in this particular specimen appears distorted, doubled, or completely misaligned. And that's just the beginning, because while mint mark errors are not uncommon, what makes this coin stand out is a perfect storm of anomalies, a blend of double die obverse, die clash, off-center striking, and possibly even planchette contamination or substitution that defies standard minting processes. And when you combine these with anecdotal accounts from collectors who swear the coin exhibits properties unlike anything they've seen, unusual luster patterns, edge misalignments, and even weight variations that suggest a non-standard planchette or foreign metal inclusion, you begin to understand why this coin has reached mythic status, not just because of its physical flaws, but because of the mystery surrounding how such a coin could exist in the first place. And the deeper you dig, the more puzzling it becomes. For example, some reports suggest that the coin was struck on a blank intended for a different denomination or even a foreign coin, leading to speculation that a mix-up at the mint allowed a rogue planchette to enter the penny production line unnoticed, and when combined with an improperly prepared die, the resulting coin became a bizarre hybrid, a Frankenstein's monster of sorts that looks mostly like a penny but contains numerous clues that it was never meant to be, and these clues are not always obvious at first glance, requiring magnification, chemical testing, and advanced numismatic analysis to detect, such as ghost images from die clash events that leave parts of the Lincoln Memorial or Lincoln's profile oddly duplicated or mirrored in places they shouldn't be, tiny but unmistakable cues that the minting process went wildly off script. And then there's the curious case of doubling, where letters and numerals appear to be printed twice due to die misalignment or slippage, with the 3 in 2003 sometimes reported to have a visible shadow or offset, and collectors know that true double dies, not machine doubling but actual doubled impressions from a faulty hubbing process, are among the most sought-after errors in coin collecting. And when combined with other flaws, like misaligned dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and planchette anomalies, create a perfect storm that transforms a humble 1-cent coin into a once-in-a-lifetime find. And what's more astonishing is the theory held by some that this penny may be the product of a rogue mint employee, someone who may have intentionally introduced these errors either as a prank or an attempt to create a numismatic rarity. A theory that's impossible to prove but adds an extra layer of intrigue to an already unbelievable story. And whether the coin was born of accident or intention, the fact remains that it has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide, with auction rumors and private sales driving its estimated value ever higher, especially after one reported case of such a coin fetching tens of millions in a private collector-to-collector deal, sending shockwaves through the numismatic world and causing a frenzy of penny inspection among amateur and professional collectors alike, all searching for that 1 in a billion error coin that could change their lives forever. And while the US Mint has never officially confirmed the existence of such a coin or acknowledged the possibility of a $82 million penny, the lack of confirmation has only fueled speculation, making the story grow into the kind of legend that blurs the line between myth and reality, further intensified by online photos, coin forum debates, and YouTube videos showing close-up analyses of potential specimens, with enthusiasts pointing to everything from die rotation and lamination errors to possible brokerage strikes and missing design elements, such as the disappearance or partial ghosting of Lincoln's bust or letters in God We Trust, with some viewers even claiming to detect minute traces of foreign object damage or metal impurity that adds to the mystery. And then there's the reverse side, where the Lincoln Memorial design sometimes appears warped, stretched, or even partially missing due to die fatigue or incorrect striking pressure, and in extreme error cases, design elements are shifted or appear to have been dragged across the surface, causing additional curiosity among error coin specialists. And if all that weren't enough, some of the alleged high-value 2003D pennies are said to contain small microbubbles or striations in the metal that are uncharacteristic of standard minting processes, possibly caused by contamination or improper annealing of the planchette before striking. And while none of these errors alone would justify an 8-figure valuation, the combination of all of them, layered on top of each other like geological strata of minting mistakes, makes this coin not just rare but arguably one of a kind, a true black swan event in the world of American coinage. And because rarity is only half the equation in determining value, the other half being demand, this coin's mythological status and the global excitement it generates contribute massively to its valuation. As the more people become aware of its existence and potential, the more desirable it becomes to high-net-worth collectors who view it not just as a coin, but as a cultural artifact, a mystery, and a conversation piece that reflects the human fascination with chance, anomaly, and hidden value. And if you're wondering whether you might have one of these coins yourself, experts suggest looking closely at the date, the mint mark, the overall surface texture, and any doubling or ghosting effects, especially under a magnifying glass or microscope, and even then, getting a professional grading from PCGS or NGC is essential before drawing conclusions, because many counterfeiters have tried to replicate this coin's features to cash in on the hype, but true experts know how to detect the subtleties that separate a genuine mint error from a modern forgery. And in the rare event that you do possess a genuine 2003D penny with multiple verified errors consistent with the rumored ultra-rare specimen, then you might just be holding one of the most valuable small coins in existence. So keep searching, keep collecting, and keep watching, because in the world of numismatics, even the smallest coin can hold the biggest surprise.